Well, first thing I want to do is welcome everybody to the doom that came to Drake's Pass. This adventure was actually in um, an offering from a Patreon called Elven Tower, and he does adventures for Dungeons and Dragons as well as Shadowdark. And this had a different name, but I didn't want to call it by the name that it had because it kind of gives away what's going on. So I gave it a different name. But when we're at the end, I'll kind of explain what it was and where we are. So I'm going to move us to a map, and we are in a small town called Drake's Pass. And here we can see the Drake's Resolve Inn. Hopefully you should all be able to see that. You can see kind of a little village with some lights on.
Yep.
Everyone see that? Perfect. So you're spending the night in Drake's Pass, and you are enjoying the fare at the Drake's Resolve Inn. And the place is bustling. There's a lot of townsfolk here. They're talking about the upcoming harvest that's going to be coming into town, or the upcoming festival that they're going to have. Sounds like it's going to be just a great time in the tavern. And the ale flows, the meat is roasting on the spit. Everyone is happy. And then the door opens, and a young woman comes in. I'm going to post a picture of her. A young woman comes in, and she is beside herself. She has been clearly crying for... Okay, I gotta change this music. It's like the corniest music ever. There you go. She is beside herself and crying, and says that her farm has been attacked by strange, shapeless monsters that emerged from the well. The innkeeper, a man named Sarkon, as well as a young man named Rickon Humbert. And I do have a picture of Rickon. Rickon, he stands up and reaches out to comfort her, and you see her kind of turn away as though she does not want comfort. She wants vengeance. And she looks at the townsfolk and says, "Who here is going to help me?" And you see most of the eyes kind of look down and look away. A few rise up, Rickon mostly encouraging them to get on their feet and aid Marianne. And you hear a few people kind of whispering to themselves. A few people, in perhaps cowardice, you hear them asking, we should just send a letter to the capital authorities and await reinforcements. And Rickon says, that's going to take at least a week, if they even come at all. So Rickon makes a plea for anyone to go with Marianne back to her farm and find out exactly what is going on. Her desperate words stir a restlessness in your heart, and she begs all of you to accompany her to the farm to try and save her family. Now, this is a good opportunity for you to prove yourself. You are, as of yet, untested folk. You've not been really put to any sense of adventure in your life, but this may be the first chance you get to do this. Now, there's a few people, and they kind of whisper amongst themselves, and one of them looks over at Martin, and he says, he kind of whispers to you in a low voice. I'm going to roll on a table here. These are rumors you might hear in town. He says, Rickon, he's the best swordsman in Drake's Pass, and he courts Marianne. Legend has it that he is soon to propose marriage to her. And that's why he stands up. He's full of bluster and wants to impress her. That's all this is. And then to Iraga, you catch someone else saying that last season's wheat harvest was less plentiful, and some of it was spoiled, darkened by an oil like bitter film. Rickon looks around the tavern. Who will join me? And he eyes Nix.
I will.
Well, he looks at Martin first. He looks at Martin, and Martin kind of stands up and takes the look around the room, seeing all these people here. I will, he says. And then he turns and looks at Nyx. Rickon does. What about you? I hear you were brave once. Will you not be brave again?
Nyx will stand up.
As you rise, the door opens. Martin and Nyx, you can head out into the night. He turns and he sees Iraga. And Iraga, you're kind of a misfit here in town. There's not a lot of half-orcs. You know, your human parentage, they're probably accepting of that, but the orc part, they don't know. This is a chance for Iraga to prove herself. Do you take them up on this action?
Iraga's gonna stand up and say, I will join you on your quest. For these people may be cowardly, but those of us who have strength have the responsibility to use it.
Excellent. And then he looks at Krieg. I don't know how much help you will be. This sounds very dangerous. Perhaps you would be best to stay here at the inn. And you see Rickon putting a hand on a small sword at his side.
Well, I may not be very much use when it comes to battle, but my spells prove a vital turning point if I'm allowed to cast them properly.
Well, we have your spells, and we've got Nyx's bow. Do we have someone's axe? And his eyes turn to Jorben.
And I think poor Jorben is looking at his half-drank pint, and he's just thinking, another drink I'm not going to get to finish. But he's not going to be unmanned by being the only one to deny this opportunity, so he'll say aye.
Yeah, absolutely. A few of the townsfolk, they rise up and say, we will go to the authorities, but go and check on the farm, and ensure that the farm is safe. And a few of the villagers will go with you. Rickon goes with you. Marianne goes with you. These will represent kind of backup characters in case someone falls. You get to just kind of pull a random villager out of the hat and get to run with them. Marianne points kind of through the center of town, follow me, and she begins to head off down the road. Now there's other homes, other houses here. You're relatively new to this place, but there are likely farmers here. That Emlyn is the village blacksmith. He's a very stout fellow. That he might be one that could join as well. And his home is over here to the east of the Drake's Resolve Inn. So you can head straight to the farm. You can go and speak to some townsfolk. Anything that you want to do is up to you. There's also an old farmer named Joggle, and Joggle has quite a few people living in his house. He's over here in this larger house, kind of at the end of town. Where would you like to go? In fact, who is the bravest among us? Who would lead this expedition?
Well, getting to that point, I think Jorben would definitely be wanting to get along to the action. It sounded like we had something to do. He's not the smartest guy. He wasn't really paying attention, but...
If you get back sooner, then your pint might still be there.
Oh, it's totally going to get stolen, but, maybe.
Maybe Sarkon would give you a free refill.
Did you ask to have a takeout mug?
Oh, there you go. Can I get a doggy mug? In fact, he would give you a wineskin with some wine in it. just tell you to come back in one piece, and the wine is on the house.
Oh, one for the road. Beautiful.
You guys will be carrying Jorben by the time you get to Marianne's farm. Is there any place in town you want to stop? Sorry, what was that, Craig? You said Nix did something?
Nix is terrified. The only reason he's going is because he has not a copper to his name. The way he got here was terrifying. He saw his dwarf friend get shot in the back of the head by somebody.
I think she's in the party.
Oh, okay. Please.
I believe it was a slime, actually.
Yeah, no one else witnessed
That's what I heard.
Well, please, ma'am, take no offense as I stay behind you all the time.
So that is Kato, that's an inside joke. The last time we played this, Madeline's character tried to throw a dagger past Craig's character to attack an enemy, and it ended up hitting him in the back of the head and killing him. But no one else saw, so she just...
Allegedly.
The slime got him, So now his descendants are now fearful of anyone that Marianne comes into contact with. Do you want to visit anyone in town or head straight to the farm?
Jorben's of the mind to go on and get going.
Perhaps you'll be back before last call.
Precisely.
As we go, can I look around and look for items or places of interest that might have valuable things?
Yeah, so give me a wisdom roll.
How do I do that?
So if you open up your character sheet, go to abilities, and then where it says stats and then there's WIS, click on that and then do a normal roll. And you want to beat a 9. Ooh, and you did not. So you got a 4. So you do look around. It's dark. You're kind of in a hurry. The one thing that you do find, or you think maybe as you go by, and I'm going to move your character down here to the well. There's an old well in town. And as you get near there, there's a time-worn stone well. Its edges smooth from countless hands. There's a relief of Sir Bramwell, a noble, ever-vigilant hero of this village in times past. He gazes eastward. There's a crude wooden scaffold for flower garlands built halfway around the stone construction, and these should be ready for that big festival in just a few days. There is a bucket of water that has been raised up as though someone has taken some, and the water seems okay, but as you look, there's a little bit of a glistening film on the edge of the bucket as water is dripping out of it, and it doesn't look normal. Like you've never seen it like that. It's almost as though someone has put oil in that water.
Does it smell?
As you
Or
smell
any
it,
other...
there's a faint sulfurous smell coming from that water. It doesn't smell right. It could be okay to drink, but you maybe don't want to try your hand at that. A little bit of metagaming. If our wizard has detect magic, if you wanted to cast that, you could.
Yes. Why not?
So then if you open your sheet, go to spells, make a roll. Failure.
Oh, close.
So, do you want to use your luck point?
So if I don't, that spell's gone.
That spell's gone. Yep.
Well, I feel like I might want to keep
The luck point just in case?
Yes, so I just re-roll it?
Yeah. There we go. That's a success. And then just be sure to uncheck your luck box. So you detect a faint aura of necromancy, and you experience a brief vision as you cast your hand over this. This is a vision of undead abominations crawling from tombs deep down under the ground. The tombs are old, ancient stone, And as they break free, the stench of that water becomes almost overpowering, and you recoil back for a moment, and that vision ends. But there's something very distinctly bad in this water. It seems to be tainted.
Oh, well, definitely don't drink it. There seems to be necromancy at work here.
Do you continue on to the farm?
That sounds good.
Let's go to the farm. Alright, let me take us there. I'll drop some tokens here. Now here on this little stretch of road, it takes a short time to get here, and on the way you encounter a gruesome scene. There's an overturned produce cart and the mangled remains of 2 farmers from a nearby plantation. The cart and the corpses are drenched with a slowly drying dark goo. The road takes a turn to the north between wheat plantations and then turns west towards Vidalia's farm. It's a little under an hour walk to get here. Do you want to do anything at that wagon before you arrive here at the farm?
My screen's completely black. I can only see my token.
Yep, you might need some torches. There's no lights here. So if someone wants to use light, they can use light. You can light up a torch, or on your character sheet, you can go to inventory, go to one of your torches. There we go. Now, torches in this game have a timer. So Krieg, your torch timer just started. That you'll get 1 hour of that. It will go out after an hour, and then someone else will need to light a torch. So as you come up upon this road, kind of heading in towards the farm, kind of just off screen is where we found that wagon and those bodies covered in that black goo. And Marianne encourages us, please, we must hurry. My family, they may not be well. And encourages us to make haste towards her farm.
What was pulling the wagon?
So it was a hand cart. So just the 2 farmers, is a little produce cart, 2 wheels, 2 handles. It was full of produce that was being brought in towards town, presumably for that festival that's upcoming.
At night?
At night. Now up here, right away, you can see something. It looks like an outhouse right here. In fact, you see a door kind of on the northern side of that. And this outhouse, there's a malodorous stench. It's different from excrement. There's something bad. It's kind of like that sulfurous smell, but it's really bad. Much worse than it was in the well.
Is there any way we can tell if the smell is the same smell as what was coming out of the well?
That would be a wisdom roll. If you want to make another wisdom roll. Beat a 9 for this one. Yeah, so a natural 20, that's really good. That's a critical success with that. So you can identify that it is similar. It's probably the same thing, but that was a more dilute concentration. This is a much more significantly stronger concentration of that same smell. Now you can notice up here on the ground there seems to be a trail, marks. It's hard to tell if that's blood or slime or what it might be. You can see a barn just over here, and then this looks to be the front porch to a home. And here,
Looking at those drag marks, can we tell if they're coming from the house or towards?
yeah, give me a wisdom roll. It's hard to tell. Based on your best look, it looks as though it came from the home to the well, but that's just your best guess. There's nothing that proves that with any certainty. Now, up here at the well, the first thing that you notice is this. It's oozing a foul black sludge. Its acrid stench is suffocating, and the tainted soil surrounding it writhes with unnatural decay, sickening the weeds. Now, this stench is bad. You know, if you get any closer, you may begin retching. It's going to be difficult. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult to get much closer.
Stink, stink, stunk. I will live with the mystery.
And there's a back door to the house over here, or those marks seem to go to the front of the house. So if you can see, there's a door right there. If you open that door, it's not locked, and inside you see food items lying on the cutting surfaces as if someone was in the middle of cooking dinner. All of the food on the surfaces, stove, and crates is rotten and malodorous. Marianne says, "But this was fresh just 2 hours ago when I left. Why is this? How could this be rotten so fast? It looks as though this stuff is weeks old."
Something foul is here.
Goodness.
And as Jorben opens that door,
Oh, there it is.
the first thing you see, well, the living room reeks of decay. There's dried blood stains around a shattered corpse, its bones pulverized. Furniture is overturned, crimson splatter staining the walls. Marianne cries out, "Not Carl, no!" And you see that there is a blackened, goo-stained kitchen knife next to the body. Marianne sobs silently, gazing at her brother. And you hear Rickon say, "I vow to kill whoever is responsible for this unjust act of cowardice." There are stairs that lead up here. Let me see, who's the first up, Jorben? Give me 1 second. I'm going to make a roll here real quick.
You always love to hear it.
What bad thing could happen there?
And who is Luke's hit point laden character's name?
Jorben.
Jorben. Very
Jorgen.
fun name.
Jorgen, dude, you got to check this out.
As you're going up the stairs, you feel a tremor in the entire house, and it's an earthquake, and it's almost like a pulsing wave coming up from the ground. And everyone needs to make a strength check. You need to beat a 12, or you will fall prone to the ground. So Nix and Martin drop to the ground, and Marianne cries out and says, "Oh, this has happened before. Terrible, terrible thing. This months ago, something like this came and it damaged one of the walls in the cellar. My father promptly fixed it. He said there was something beyond and we were not allowed to go and look. I don't know what it could have been, but terrible, terrible thing."
Where was the wall? That was
down in the cellar. You can access the cellar from the outside.
I think we should investigate the cellar. You know, nothing I'm sure untoward is down there.
Do you want to continue up the stairs, up to the second level, or just head down to the cellar?
we're in the house. Might as well go to the second level.
Let me take us up there. So let me have you guys kind of get in the order that you are on the stairs. No particular reason.
Martin,
I'm
get
down
back
here.
there.
All right, let me grab you two first.
Nyx is clear at the back. Just because he's a ranged attacker.
Let me
That's the
grab
only
you
reason.
guys Here.
As we go up the stairs, Araga's like clutching her holy symbol and kind of just muttering small prayers under her breath.
As you get up here to this second floor, you see a decaying body lying on an embroidered rug. The poor man's head was bashed into a couch's armrest, and the rest of the room is eerily in silent peace. There are two doors down this hallway.
Are they? Can I open them? Are they locked?
Nope, they are not locked. You can open them. This one here, a double bunk bed, a single bed, a wardrobe, and a night table furnish this room. There are no signs of struggle or decay in this room. And then in the other room, the one on the left-hand side, this room contains a single bed and a wardrobe. This must be Marianne's room. There's several robes and an extra pair of boots in that room. Right about now, I'm going to pause the game real quick. That body on the floor begins to twitch. And Nyx, you turn around and you see, sure enough, that body is moving. And we're going to be into combat as it rises up the living dead. So this is a zombie. So you're going to roll initiative. So if you go to the upper right-hand toolbar, there's two crossed swords. Click on that. It will show your name. Then there's a picture of a dice. Click on the dice, and it will roll initiative for you. So this is just basically a dexterity roll.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
Where
problem.
do I go?
So in the toolbar on the upper right, where you can do the chat, the actor, and the musical notes, there's two crossed swords. And go to there and then click on, there's a picture of a dice next to, like on the, there you go, perfect. So we've all, that is terrible. So let's go ahead and we will begin combat. So Iraga, you rolled the best. So you will go first. Let me unpause it. And so on your turn, you can move. It's essentially 6 squares. It's near is the distance, about 30 feet. You could go anywhere on the second floor. And then you can take an action like swinging your sword or doing a spell or anything like that. So the problem here is that Nyx, you go last, and you're right next to the zombie. And I think Krieg has our light. You could swing your torch if you want, but if you hit, there's a chance your torch goes out, and then we're essentially in darkness. But Krieg, you get to go first. Or sorry, Iraga, you get to go first.
I'm going to push past my comrades over here and swing my longsword at the zombie.
Perfect. Go ahead and move up to the zombie. You don't need to do targeting in Shadowdark. You can just click on your skill.
I think I'm not able to get out of this room. It just says I'm colliding with the wall.
Oh, let me get you out there. There we go. Let's try that. In fact, I'll move you down right here by the zombie.
We just click on whatever weapon we're going to be using.
So you go on to like the abilities and just whatever the attack is. And this zombie, so I know the armor class of this zombie. I won't tell you what it is till somebody misses it or makes it, and then I'll let you know what the AC is. Well, that's a hit. Absolutely. And wow. 9 damage. Okay. So you see blood splatters. It looks like red blood, but it's really kind of some dark, gooey, oopy, goozy stuff as it falls out of this zombie as you slash him deeply across the chest. He does not drop from that blow, but continues on. Krieg, your turn.
All right. I will begin casting a spell.
Oh,
Well,
no.
that's gone.
Oh, no. Your one good thing.
That's even with advantage, unfortunately.
Your spell fizzles, but you didn't roll a 1, so there's no mishap. But your ability to cast magic missile is gone. You still have movement if you want to move.
No, I like it here.
Jorben, your turn.
Oh my.
And you can move through friendly characters. That's no problem. As you could leap up onto that little sofa.
He is one ugly bastard.
So is the zombie.
Well played.
Oh, just enough. How do you take out the zombie?
Well, it looks like Iraga just about got the job done, so I don't think it really took anything very impressive.
Yeah, it didn't take much to take that out. You hit it with your great axe, maybe hew the head right off of it.
Oh.
Marianne is beside herself with grief, seeing what has befallen her family, and she says, "My father, he would be down in the cellar. When I left, I saw him heading down there. We must get down there quickly."
Can I examine the body for what happened to it to make it turn into a zombie?
Yeah, so looking at it, you can tell that the way this thing died was... his head was bashed into that couch's armrest. There's no cuts on him, no puncture wounds. It was just blunt force trauma. It looks as though that black ooze, you can see it kind of bubbling inside of his nostrils. Maybe he drank the water. Maybe, who knows? But clearly it got inside of his body somehow.
I want to feed the black, I'm not doing this right now, but I want to feed the black water to a farm animal in the barn.
Yeah, so there, when you came in, you could hear the lowing of cows in the barn, so you could definitely get them some of that water.
I think at some point we should do that.
From here...
Can I look at...
Yes.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, am I able to look at these papers and correspondence that are on the dresser and table?
Yep, absolutely. So you don't even need to make like a searching roll or anything. As you look around in there, it looks to be a tally of the farm, of how many bushels of wheat they've harvested, and kind of who they owe money to, and their accounting. It looks as though one of the brothers was doing this. You also spot a leather bag. It's in one of the wardrobes, and it's got some gold. You see coins in there. This is probably the family's funds right here.
Can I stealthily pocket them?
Yeah, that would be a dexterity roll. You got it. So you managed to slip that into your pocket. Marianne is distracted. She's looking down at her father. You know that if she had seen you take that, she might not have appreciated that, but she was so distracted with her brother that she didn't notice, and you have now pocketed that pouch of coins. Now in Shadowdark, the way you gain experience points is you find loot. So this stash of coins is worth 1 experience point. So everyone can add 1 experience point to their characters. So if you open it up and you go to the details, it has XP. Everyone should have 0. You can now change that 0 to a 1.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put some treasure and put down leather pouch on Martin here with 40 gold. Perfect. Okay. Do you want to head out to the barn, or do you want to go down to the cellar?
To the cellar.
Yeah.
All right. Let me.
I will follow Araga.
Iraga's in the lead.
Araga's, yeah, I'm just being pushed forward by everyone, and she's just like, oh, okay.
She knows how to use that longsword.
Let me.
That work on that zombie was just so impressive.
All right. Let me grab you all here, and I'll just copy and paste here. I'll get us down to the cellar. There we go.
Oof.
Let me just get
Teleportation always makes me dizzy.
down here in the cellar. The first thing that you see is there it is, the body of Wade Vidalia. This is the father. It looks as though he was mauled to death, much like his son Carl. There is a tendril of dark goo that slowly crawls on the floor towards the mangled corpse. Marianne collapses to the floor at the sight, sobbing uncontrollably, and begins to wail.
You dropped out there. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, sorry. So Marianne sees the body of her father here on the ground and just begins to wail. She is weeping over his body. It looks as though he died being bludgeoned to death as well. Now there is an opening in the wall of the cellar here. This, Marianne says, this is what my father tried to block up, and you can see through there. There now appears to be a passageway. There's also a rather stout door up here to the northwest.
What's on the table?
Jess.
The table has, let's see, it has a few of the family heirlooms. There are some gold cups. These are things that they look to be antiques. These were probably held in the family for quite some time. Marianne wouldn't know why these were out. These shouldn't be just down here in the cellar where anyone could get to them. She doesn't know why they might have been here. There's also more documents, and it looks as though perhaps Marianne's father was in financial troubles and was trying to get himself out of these financial troubles.
Is it possible, with the bodies, do they look like freshly killed, or?
They do. They look like, you would guess they've only been dead for maybe an hour, maybe two. If you want to give me a wisdom roll, you could probably hammer that down more specifically. You need to beat an 11 on this one. Yeah, you're not sure. They're not like a day old, but you think they're pretty recent. You know, maybe even less than an hour. Maybe while you were heading here.
Okay, well, I think what we do is we see what's behind door number 1.
Well, let's do it. Who opens the door? This doorway opens into a storage room containing barrels of fermented wheat and wine and crates with seed crop grain for the next season. You know, these could all be sold at the market, but this would represent the family's next harvest. And if you were to take this and sell it, the family would be destitute.
Well, there's not much family left to support,
Right.
I suppose, right?
Exactly.
Is that a chest or a barrel?
That's a barrel.
Okay. What are the letters on the table here?
Again, they are accountings of what they've got as far as stocks of fermented wine, as well as how many crates of seed crop. It's just a general accounting of what they've got here. And it looks to be written in the son's handwriting. And right there, let me pause it. As the body begins to rise. And we'll go back to battle if you want to roll your initiative. All right, let's get in here. Krieg, you go first. Let me unpause it. Oh boy. Krieg attacks with the dagger. That is not enough to strike it, so it does not take any damage. But good effort. You want to move as well? And were you throwing that dagger?
Yeah, that was a thrown.
A thrown dagger. Okay. Nyx, you're up next.
Okay. Well, my longbow doesn't seem to be rolling.
Let's see.
I'm clicking on it.
Oh, you don't have ammunition. That's why. Let me get you some ammunition.
I'll just throw the bow at him.
That would work.
And give a very effeminate scream.
There we go. Now try the bow.
Nothing.
Oh, I probably need to equip them. Let's see. So I can do it. Let me roll this for you. Well, that's a hit. Hit for 6 damage.
Down with you!
So a solid hit. You see blood splatter out. You can... Oh, you did move. Excellent. Jorben.
Excellent. Well, maybe he can redeem that earlier too.
With your great axe.
You gotta love a big axe.
Oh. That is a hit.
That is more than 2, yes.
And that is... he had 5. That is exactly what you needed. How do you kill this zombie?
I think it just probably just crushes his head, just hits him right in the middle. Not really aiming very particularly. It's an axe.
Nice. You clock him right in the head, and he just drops. And you see some of that black ooze that is mixed with his blood begin to pool on the floor beneath his wounds. Nyx, do you want to recover that arrow?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Perfect. You get the arrow back. It's a little on the bad side. A little bit of black ooze on there. Never hurt anyone, but it's definitely reusable.
Okay.
All right, we are out of combat, so you're all welcome to move around again. Jorben is going to open every door and every chest. Sweet.
I will wipe my arrow on the back of Jorben's cloak while he's gone.
Let's send Jorben down the tunnel here and see what's going on. And this tunnel here, you see this half-collapsed wall that connects to a natural tunnel, and that ooze seems to be thicker in here. It's thick as oil, shimmering with a sinister purpose, its surface reflecting no light. And the very ground seems to pulse faintly, as though alive with some ancient, hateful rhythm. And the eerie stillness is broken only by the faint, wet sounds of something dripping in here.
Well, this is disgusting.
It looks as though that ooze follows a natural cavern in the ground beneath the Vidalia farm.
Can you tell which way it's flowing from?
Seems to be flowing towards you, so you're heading towards the source. We'll put Jorben in the lead here as he comes up, and let's go to the next map. Let me pull some tokens out here. So again, I'm going to put Jorben in the lead, so when Luke gets back, he'll have a fit. And let's put Iraga.
I think Jorben is emboldened by his drink and then also him taking out those 2 zombies, so he very happily takes the lead.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Can you hear us?
This looks fun. Yes, hello.
Yeah, so you took the lead in here as we came we through that little gap in the wall. And up here, you find a shadowy cavern echoing with distant drips. A viscous pond of inky sludge ripples faintly. Pale light pours from the opening above. This must be the well. It casts eerie glimmers and shadows across slick stone walls. As you reach this area, you need to make a constitution roll or be sick, or you will retch. So you need to beat a 12. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Jeez.
So Iraga is okay. Jorben, you puke all over the front of you. And Nyx, likewise. Martin, you're fine. But the sight of Jorben heaving his guts out here, and it does stink, but this, that maybe that wine you drank is just not agreeing with you. You see that the ooze seems to continue flowing from the south towards the north where it pooled in this well. So to find the source, you'd need to head further south down that tunnel.
Well, puked it all out already. Might as well keep going.
I dip one of my daggers in the ooze.
Yeah. So you've now got that black, tarry, slick ooze all over your dagger. In here, this room is a stream of thick sludge crosses a large chamber that was once part of an underground construction. A faded mural on the wall portrays a hooded man bound to a wooden rack. Terrible wounds mark his body. This must have been a torture chamber in some ancient building that is now beneath the Vidalia farm. Scattered across the floor are tiny pieces of pliers, nails, and other metal items. The mural, there are barely legible runes that tell a tale on there, and the 2 folk best suited to try and read this is going to be either Krieg or Iraga, if you want to try to read these runes. And this would be an intelligence roll for the wizard or a wisdom roll for the cleric. Well, Krieg, you can't make heads or tails of this. But Iraga can. And looking at this, you read, it says, before their final entombment, the foul mages were fettered to iron racks within shadowed halls of stone, their limbs bound by chains inscribed with ancient runes to smother all sorcery. Merciless priests stood in grim assembly, intoning sacred verse to scour darkness from these wretched souls. The condemned endured torments of blazing flame and bitter frost, each scourge devised to break their spirits. As their screams waned to empty murmurs, their wills shattered and souls laid bare, they were cast into the shadowed depths of their eternal tomb and prison. Therein a murky pool of ineffable goo awaited to imbibe their wickedness into oblivion. Let me have Krieg give me an intelligence roll. And then Martin, give me a wisdom roll. Henrik, are you there? Can you do an intelligence roll?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I can do that.
So you know that the cleansing order, that's what this describes. The cleansing order, you know that this was disbanded hundreds of years ago, but it was an ancient order of priests that sought to scourge dark spellcasters of their magic, and they did it through torture and condemnation. But that practice has been lost to time. It's only myths and legends at this point. Now, Martin, as Iraga is reading the runes and deciphering them, you notice that within the dark, thick pool, just before they get a chance to try to ambush you, 2 dark oozes begin to bubble up to the surface of that ooze. And we're going to be in a battle. Let me grab us in here. There we go. If you guys want to roll initiative. And the oozes did terrible. Wow. Iraga, I think you have been rocking the initiative. You are up first.
Must be the orc half of me.
Right.
I'm going to step forward up to one of the oozes and try to swing my longsword through him.
Sweet. That is a hit. It seems as though your weapon does not do the full extent of damage that you would have hoped. As though they seem to take a little less from your blow. Martin, you're up next.
I'm going to slash at them with my daggers
Okay.
in kind of a cross, cutting, like I'm trying to like chop off their heads, even though they're just oozes.
Nice. That is a hit, and it seems as though your weapon again does a reduced amount of damage, as though these things are resistant to slashing or sharp blades.
I'm going to take a quick jump back.
Yep. And so in this game, there's no... It's called opportunity attacks. If you try and move away from someone, they might get a free attack on you. That doesn't happen in Shadowdark. You can just move away. So you can jump back. And you can move up to 6 squares, so pretty much anywhere in this room you'd be able to move to. Jorbin.
Okay, this looks like the fun part.
I just want to make sure I'm behind Krieg.
Oh,
Do you want to
A dragon!
use... yeah.
Dragon!
my luck.
Wrong
Yeah, I think this feels like a good time. Oh, yeah, thank you, Craig.
Wrong game. So if you want to use your luck token, you can re-roll that.
I will do this.
That is a hit. That does, again, roughly half the damage. But you see blood, so you know you've got it down at least half of what it was. That was Jorbin. Krieg, you're up next. Oh, excellent. That is a definite hit, and that is bludgeoning damage. It takes the full brunt of that 1 hit point of damage.
Yes, a mighty blow.
Indeed. And Nyx, you're up next. And then the two tainted oozes.
I'm going to step up and I'm going to plunge my torch into it.
Oh, nice.
Do I do that just by clicking on torch?
I don't know if, honestly, I don't know if Foundry will let you do that. I don't think it will.
So I just roll 1d12 for damage?
No. So, but you will roll. You could add a +1 to whatever you roll. So just roll a d20. We'll add 1 to it. And then your damage will be 1d6, but then plus 1d8 for the flames. But then there's a chance your torch goes out. So that's a hit. So 1d6 plus 1d8. Six damage, and then roll another d6. If you roll a 1, your torch goes out. Okay, your torch is still lit, and Tainted Ooze number 1 is no more.
Nice.
Foul beast.
Tainted
Can
Ooze,
I move?
Yes, you can move. Behind everybody else.
Up here by my savior.
Tainted Ooze number 2. So I'm going to roll to see who it attacks. So 1 is Nyx, 2 is Iraga, 3 is Jorben, and 4 is Krieg. And it's going to be 3. So that's going to be Jorben. So it's going to move up to Jorben.
Perfect, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of that's who we want it to attack. And it will try to rend you with a pseudopod here. What is your armor class? Oh, it failed. So if I targeted you, I guess it calculates that. So that was a miss. We'll go to the next round. It will re-roll the initiatives. You keep initiative in this game for the duration of each combat. So Iraga, you're up next.
Well, only armed with my longsword, and it hasn't let me down before. I'm gonna take another swing.
That's a hit. Oh, excellent. So it takes half of that damage, but that is an excellent hit. In fact, that one splatters with a little blood. And then Martin, you're up next.
I'll do another slash. As ineffectual as it is.
Still, something's better than nothing. Oh, okay. So natural 20. So that does double damage. And so it rolled double your weapon damage. And it did 3. It still takes half of that. But I'm going to round that up just because it was a natural 20. So it's sitting on 1 hit point. It's almost dead. Jorben. Man for the job.
He loves finishing it off after everyone else has hit it really well.
You open the jar of pickles after everyone has had a go at it.
Exactly.
Okay, how do you take out this tainted ooze?
Yeah, this thing is just slashed to hell, so I think it just kind of falls apart.
Nice. Now, Martin, for that critical, you already have a luck token. I was going to give you another luck token, but you already have one, so you can only ever have one at a time. But that ends that round of combat. Well done. These oozes, you now look at this river of ooze, and you know that these things could rise up at any time, and you had best be on your guard. Now, you do see that this tunnel here seems to lead into an area that's just filled with spider webs. You see great numbers of webs. You can go through this, or you could bypass it. You could kind of dig your way out through this little gap here. It's going to make a lot of noise. It's going to take a little time, but it is doable. Or you can go into that spider webby area. Now, right there, let me have Krieg and Jorben give me a wisdom roll.
Ooh. Not quite. Oh, yes.
All right. Jorben, you walk in, you're like, oh, fascinating, fascinating. Krieg, you see movement, and you will have a chance to react before this all happens, but you see a great shadowy bulk begin to emerge from the darkness. And then off to the side, you see several smaller things. You see a giant spider and several smaller spiders beginning to approach as they feel the vibrations in those strands. So I'm going to give Krieg a chance to act first, but let me grab all of us and put us into another initiative. So if you want to roll your initiative. Oh, I think Jorben's going first this time. Well, actually, Krieg will go first, and then for Nix. All right.
Nix, well done.
Yeah, Nix is up first. Well, actually, sorry.
Well, Krieg, right?
Krieg and then Nix. Yep.
Oh, I know Jorben can handle himself.
At least you hope. You
Yes.
would know, Krieg, that giant spiders are no small feat. These things they're large, they're dangerous, they're poisonous. You know that this is definitely a very deadly foe. So you can move. You can take an action as well if you like, Krieg.
Sure. I will throw my dagger at it.
And that is a miss. Good effort.
Well, I try.
Nix, your turn.
All right. I'm going to try my bow again, and it will not fire.
What the heck? Let me take a look here. You're doing it from the abilities tab or the inventory tab?
Let me try from the abilities. So I will yell at it, "Add a cop, add a cop."
Hey, there we go. Well, you missed, so.
And it's,
Yeah.
spectacular.
Jorben, you're about to get a face full of giant spider.
Yeah, oh, finally, a worthy opponent.
More than worthy. And Krieg, you know you have about 15 minutes left on your torch. Well, that's a hit for a whopping 2 damage. So, wow, you could do up to 11. You did the minimum. But, you know, something's better than nothing. Let's go. Do you want to move? Otherwise, it's Martin's turn.
I mean, he's in a pretty good choke point, I guess.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
We do have a healer in the party until they lose their spells, but... Martin, what do you do?
I'm going to take my dagger that's coated in the
goo.
black necrotic goo, and I'm going to throw it.
That is a hit. With the goo. Let me give this guy a roll.
Oh, I hope we don't have a zombie spider now.
Okay.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, you see the goo, the spider kind of twitch and try to reach up with one of its legs, but it can't quite reach that. It does not like the sting of that goo. It looks as though the goo has definitely gotten into the internal structures of this spider, and we'll see what happens. Iraga, unless Martin wants to move, then it's Iraga's turn.
Yeah, I'm going to let her take the point on this one.
Yeah. Everyone just keeps moving to the back.
Well, I can't really get all the way up there, so I'm going to whip out my crossbow and,
Perfect.
aiming very carefully.
Oh, we've been here before.
I'm a dwarf, I'm short. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm creating generational trauma.
If you roll a 1, you hit him in the head.
So aiming very, very carefully.
Look, guys, left-handed with my eyes closed. Well, it's a miss, but you didn't hit him in the head, so that's good. The giant spider. Well, it's going after Jorben. All right, Jorben, you don't want this to hit you. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so the spider... I'm going to give him advantage on this Constitution roll. Okay. Spider's okay, but he does wound himself from that. Now the spider swarm, this little swarm of spiders, rushes up and goes after our good mate Jorben here. Oh, thank goodness. And that's a miss. No damage. Krieg, you're up.
All right. I will use my staff.
Is that on the
nice.
little spider swarm? That is a success.
Yes. As I shoo some of them away, and then I will back up to a safer spot.
Excellent. Nyx, you're up. Does Nyx use the longbow and shoot Iraga in the back of the head while yelling, "Payback's a bitch"?
I will shoot past all of them, and surely I will crit this time.
What could go wrong?
Yes.
Well,
I could shit.
You could shit the
I
bed.
shit the bed once again.
Yes, sir.
I will just be back here sharpening my arrows.
Jorben, your turn.
Yeah, arrows are just flying past him.
Oh, excellent. That is a hit, and that's on the giant spider. Oh, almost. Finally doing some good damage. Lots of blood. Martin, you're up.
He's motivated.
I see blood. I'm gonna run up and stab it with my daggers. I can get my sheet open.
Now, you do have a special talent called Backstab. And if you can hit a creature who's unaware of your attack, you deal extra damage. To do that, you would need to sneak up on someone, and it would be like maybe a sneaking roll just to see if they're aware. Or if they're occupied fighting Jorben, it'd be a little easier to do that. Probably have to kind of try to get behind them. So that's something that is one of your strengths, is to do that, but it's kind of tough here because it's a choke point.
Okay.
That was at the giant spider. That is a miss.
Oh, how could I miss something that big?
That big. Well, you're trying not to hit, your teammate Jorben, maybe.
And
Some of us are. Iraga, your turn.
I'm going to run up as much as I can to that giant spider and try to hit it with my longsword, and then back off as much as possible.
So you could, tell Jorben, like, move aside, and you can sneak in, make that attack, and then Jorben can move back, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I can just step over him. So...
Right? Just tell him to duck a little more as you swing.
As I swing, I just yell, "Heads!"
Oh, it was almost 18.
Man. That would have been good. That's not enough to hit. All right, the giant spider. Okay.
Oh,
That's a hit. So, Jorben, you will take 2 points of damage. Go ahead and reduce your hit points down to 10, and then you need to make a DC 12 Constitution roll or be paralyzed for 1d4 hours.
do I just click it or do I roll Constitution?
You could just click it, and it should do that for you.
Oh, it just opens it up. Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Sweet. Yep, no problem. But you do take the 2 damage if you haven't already given that to yourself. I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I did that.
Perfect. And then the spider swarm they're going to try to bite at you. And, ooh, that hits too. So you'll take another point of damage and make another Constitution roll. This one you're only paralyzed for 1d4 rounds.
Oh, it is a difference.
Yeah, big difference.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, I forgot there's a bonus,
Yep,
of course.
you had your bonus, so you got it. Krieg, you're up.
Well, it worked well this time.
Oh, it was almost a 20. Nope, not quite. It was close, but no cigar. Let's go back to the top to Nyx.
Nyx is going to do what he does.
Miss?
And he's probably going to... Yes, he's gonna scare him to death. By near misses.
Oh, hey.
Whoa, my goodness.
Look at that. Okay.
How you like me now?
How do you take out the giant spider?
It's just, I just casually shoot the arrow, not expecting anything, and it just hits its biggest eye.
You hold it sideways,
And
like
just-
gangland style?
No, I'm not even looking in the direction. I just shoot knowing I'm going to miss.
Nice. Well, you did not miss. You managed to hit it dead center, and the great bulk just clatters down to the ground. Let's go.
And I will be surprised.
Right, yeah. You more than any of us. Jorbin, you're up next.
Hey, does any of the spider swarm get caught underneath the great bulk as it settles down?
Let me give them a roll. I like that idea. See if they pass their beat an 11. Yes, they... Nope, so they managed to get away. If they had rolled less than 11, I would say they took a little damage.
Oh!
Ooh.
Ooh.
That'll do it. How do we take out the spider swarm?
He's just mad. I think he's just swinging it around wildly and it's kind of like sweeping them up.
Excellent. The spiders succumb to your efforts. You have cleared out the spider lair, and you can now proceed.
Can I check and
Well
see
done.
if the great spider has any like poison sacs or anything?
Yeah, as you look through, you know that there are. You know these are highly venomous, and if you could extract those, that would be a great boon. That's going to be a dexterity roll to try and get those poison sacs out of there.
Ooh, I like the cut of your jib.
Right? That is a success.
Never let it.
So yeah, you managed to get a spider poison sac. Let me go to your inventory. Let's see. And let me add an item here.
Can I like cut off a fang, and use it as a poison dagger or something?
I love it. Let me give you one of those too.
Oh, Aragog.
I was going to buy you that for Christmas. I'm out of here.
Let me. In fact, I'll just let me just change this dagger to a giant spider fang.
Sweet Aragog.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay, this next room up here, you see gnawed bones scattered on the floor of this otherwise unremarkable dark cavern. There are zigzagging tracks on the floor that reveal this was once the lair of an underground flesh-eating beast. There is a strange aura emanating from these bones.
Check them out.
Do we want to do a detect magic?
Sure.
Success. You highly sense the necrotic magic. And as you pick up some of the bones to study them, you see that they rise up as a skeleton. And we're back in combat. Roll initiative.
Nothing dies here.
Nothing stays dead. That's the problem. Martin, you're up first.
I don't really feel like stabbing a skeleton's going to do much, so I flip my dagger around and I butt it with the blunt end of my dagger.
Perfect. That will be bludgeoning damage instead of piercing or slashing.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll an attack. That is a hit for 2 damage.
And then I jump back.
Perfect. Jorben, you're up next.
Nice. He doesn't really think about what type of damage he's doing. He just bonks some. Builds an axe, cleaves, but he's not very concerned.
Ooh. Okay. All right. How do you kill the skeleton? So much for that guy.
Goodness, yes. Very nonchalantly, it's a skeleton. Just hit him in the ribcage and he just falls to pieces.
Clatters down to the ground. And Krieg, you look and you see your torch is about to go out. You have about 2 minutes left on your torch. As the skeleton falls, you get the sense that these tracks that you see here, it's some sort of insect creature. This could have perhaps been the spider, but you think it's a little bit larger than that. There's also the bones. You don't know who this might have been, but they've been here a long, long time, probably hundreds of years.
We check the bones for loot.
Yeah, as you search them, you find that any loot that may have once been there is gone. There is actually a small pile of rust. They probably had something iron on them at some point, and it's completely turned into a little streak of rust on the ground. So it's clearly been here hundreds of years. You hear a bubbling, gurgling sound the more you get up this passageway. And up here, you spot the shattered remains of statues that lie scattered across the floor. These statues look to be perhaps men that were once praying, kneeling with their hands spread apart, but they've been just completely destroyed. But this was clearly a place of great importance at some point.
Can I check for traps?
Yeah, so when you search in this game, you just tell me that you're searching, and if there are traps, you will find them, or if you're searching for anything, you'll find it. So there are no traps, but because you specified that you were searching, there is treasure here. This is some good treasure. Give me a wisdom roll.
Oof.
You don't know what this is, but it's a ring. It's a little kind of silver ring with a blue stone in it. You notice probably that Krieg's eyes light up like, oh my goodness. Krieg probably knows, without even casting Detect Magic, that this thing is likely magical.
Is he the dwarf?
He is the wizard.
Oh, okay. I give it to the wizard.
You want to cast Detect Magic on this ring, Krieg?
Certainly.
Yeah, this is no ordinary ring. This is a ring of invisibility. And everyone gets 4 experience points for finding this. This is a greater stash here, or a greater treasure. Using this ring, it's a silver band set with a sapphire. Once per day, this ring can cast the invisibility spell. Essentially, you become invisible for 10 rounds, and it ends if you attack or cast a spell. There's also a curse on this. There's a cumulative 1% chance every time you rest that your sleep is ruined by apocalyptic nightmares. So, there's a downside. But 1% chance, and that increases every night until you have those nightmares. But this would be a great boon for someone.
We didn't get that bane on that. You were cutting in and out.
Oh, sorry. The ring, the bane on there is, there's a curse. There's a cumulative 1% chance each time you rest that your sleep is ruined by apocalyptic nightmares, and you would gain no benefit from resting. And that's just the price you pay for a really cool ring of invisibility. Who wants the ring?
Like, Greek would share the fact, the ring of invisibility, but he might leave out the part about the bane.
The curse.
Yes.
This would probably be best in the hands of the thief, because he could, at least once per day, it would be easy to sneak up on someone and do that backstab. But really, anyone could benefit from this.
Finders keepers, I chuckle as I tuck it into my pocket.
Let me put it on your
Fair
character
enough.
sheet. Perfect. And so then make sure everyone puts down that you got 4 additional experience points.
4 additional what?
Experience points. So everyone should be at 5 XP. Perfect. Now,
Can I check out what this room is down here?
Yeah, down in here. That
just before the last of the light
goes
disappears.
away. There are 5 standing sarcophagi that line the walls of this chamber. There are draconic runes on the lids that seem to convey information. It would take a wisdom roll to try and piece together this information.
Yeah, can I check for traps first again?
Yes. So checking around here, you detect no traps. There's no pressure plates. There's no tripwires. Nothing like that. Jorben, these runes tell a story of a man who sought infinite knowledge through a dangerous spell that would grant him lichdom. And apart from being tortured, these mages had their eyes and tongues removed as punishment. Quite a gruesome tale.
Sorry, you were cutting in and out a little bit. The mages had what?
Oh, sorry. Let me redo that. The mages had their eyes and tongues removed as punishment.
I think he said open it.
Can you guys hear me okay? Or is it still pretty bad?
We can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, the mages had their eyes and tongues torn out.
Oh, yeah, now you're cutting out.
Let me
Sorry.
drop out of the party and come back in. I will be right back.
In tongues.
Let's see if does that sound any better?
So far, so good.
Okay, so yeah, they had their eyes and tongues torn out.
Okay.
That's not what you want.
Ah, torn, okay.
Do you open the sarcophagi?
Can we listen to it to hear if there's any sound of rustling?
Yeah, you press
other
your
side?
ear up against the stone, and it's tough to hear through stone. You sense no vibrations. You don't hear anything. It's as though whomever, if anyone resides in there, has long since passed into eternal peace.
Open those bad boys up.
Open those bad boys up. Famous last words. As soon as you begin to touch the lid flings open of all of the sarcophagi, and you see this creature emerge.
Oh,
Let
sweet
me make
baby
them
Jesus.
visible.
I thought their eyes were torn out.
So I tried
Wait.
to get a picture with no eyes, and it would not do it. So you have to imagine that their eyes have been torn out. I'm thinking, I hope nobody notices. Of course somebody notices, because they're supposed to be gone. Go ahead and draw initiative.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, it just wasn't loading. I thought they all went first.
Oh, no. Okay. All right, looks like Jorben is up first.
Yes. Okay, nice.
Cast Fireball.
Nice. Let's see, that is a hit. And 10 damage. Okay, it you hit it and it drops. But then it gets a roll. It drops and stays dead.
Oh my. Good to know.
Perfect.
Foul creature.
That one is dead. Which one is that? Number 4. Perfect. And then up next is Iraga.
Okay, here's a question. So turn undead. Does that work on just like anything that's room that's undead? If
Yes.
It's near, or is it just kind of what's like right next to me?
Yep. So the spell, the range on that is near. So that's anything within like 20, 30 feet. So everything in here would do it. The way that it will work, first you'd have to make a casting roll. And then the undead creatures make a charisma check opposed by whatever you got. If it fails by 10 plus points and it's equal to or less than your level, it is destroyed. Otherwise, it will flee from you. These things are level 2 creatures, so it is it's higher than your level. So it wouldn't be destroyed, but you could cause them to flee. And it could be all of them or none of them, depending on what you roll and what their charisma checks are. Do you want to cast that?
You know what? Why not? Let's cast it. Seems like about as good a time as any.
Yeah. Okay, successful casting roll. So now they have to make a charisma check and beat a 15. So this guy up here,
Nice.
he fails. This next guy fails. This guy over here fails. And the last guy...
Oh!
Wow, you got them all. So, what they will do is on their turn, they will have to flee. It's not their turn yet, but you can all see that they are just terrified and they will be fleeing. Now, in some other games, like if you hit a creature that's turned, it breaks it. That doesn't happen in Shadowdark. They will flee for 5 rounds. So they are going to get away from you as fast as they can in any direction that they can. Krieg, you're up next.
Right, I will use my staff.
That is a success. 3 points to that guy. Excellent. And Martin.
All right, I am going to notice who's not looking at me, and then do a backstab.
So this guy right here is not looking at you.
Okay. I don't know how to do this.
So what you'll do for a backstab, you'll just make an attack roll, and if you hit, you'll deal an extra weapon die of damage, and then you also have a talent that it deals an additional weapon die of damage. So your weapon die is 1d4, so you would actually deal 3d4. You'd roll that 4-sided dice 3 times, and I can kind of show you how to do that. Go ahead and see if you hit first.
All right, so all I have, like, under the abilities, it's melee attacks and ranged attacks, right?
Yep.
And where do I go?
So just click on the melee attack.
Okay.
And then go ahead and roll for that.
All right.
And then you can check the box that says backstab. Did you see where it showed the little backstab box?
I did not click the backstab block because Should I do it?
Yeah, go ahead and do it just so we can kind of learn together how that works. But you did have a success, and you succeeded as well there. So that time it added in all your extra damage, so you did 9 points of damage on that guy. That is enough to take out Eyeless Spawn number 3.
Woo!
Excellent. And next is Eyeless Spawn number 5. He has to flee. And again, there's no opportunity attacks. He goes down into the darkness. And Nyx, if you're back, you're up next.
Alrighty. I apologize for being gone.
That's okay.
I will fire my bow at the closest ugly.
That is
and
equal,
back to my
whopping 1 point of damage.
Hey, a hit. And that's it.
Excellent. Eyeless Spawn 1. This guy steps in front of Nyx and then pushes past you and runs into the hallway. And then Eyeless Spawn number 2 will do the same thing.
Sorry, everyone. I'm sure that won't come back to bite us in 4 more rounds.
Not at all. You can continue on. We can keep it in the combat order, or you can go hunt them down. Those 2 behind you will hopefully not continue to pursue. If you can find a door, you can shut a door, and they will hopefully not be able to get to you.
I'm okay with them running away.
Yeah, honestly. Me too.
Yep.
All right. Well, Jorben, you
I
can...
think
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
we should shut the door that we're to the room that we're in.
We're in?
So...
Can't hurt. Well, give it a second.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm cheating. How far can I move? Like 6 squares, you
Yeah,
said?
like 6 squares, 30 feet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wow. Hold on. I'm not cheating. I did it perfectly.
Nice. Perfect. Iraga, your turn.
I kind of want to see what's down this hallway. Okay, well, I guess that's as far as the light will take me.
And Nyx, you're looking at your torch, and it's getting pretty burned out. You know, you're probably, you don't know how long, but maybe less than 10 minutes on that.
All right, I will put that out and light another one.
Then Krieg, it's your turn.
Will attempt to throw my dagger at one of these.
Okay. That is a miss. Martin.
Can I throw my dagger?
That's probably out of range. You could move up, like here just behind Krieg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, then you would be within range. Yep. Just barely. Let's see. You got line of sight? Yeah, you got line of sight.
Okay. Is he looking at me, or is he...
No, he's got his back to you. There wouldn't be a backstab, but you could... I would give you advantage to hit him, because he's not making any attempts to be defensive here. Okay. Critical success. Hits him squarely between the shoulders. The Eyeless Spawn. Okay, and then Nyx.
I don't think I can come close to hit. No, I'll give it a shot.
Well, not with that attitude.
Well,
or your performance.
And I probably just broke my damn bow.
Okay, so you've got someone in front of you. You got Jorben in front of you. Jorben, give me a dexterity roll or take an arrow to the back.
How they get you. Oh, not quite.
Okay, so let's see. Nick's. Oops, I keep doing the door here. Your bow does 1d8, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll the d8. Oh, 6 damage to poor Jorben. Jorben's pretty
My
hurt.
pardon.
You might need the healer here soon.
My pardon, good sir. Would you mind stepping aside?
I do believe
I mean, he's almost dead. He is on the floor right now.
Oh, shit.
But you managed to catch the arrow. Jorben, your turn.
Okay, I'll get off the floor, I guess, and get out of the way.
Yeah, you're sitting on 3 hit points. Krieg. Oops, sorry, I skipped Iraga. Iraga.
Well, I'm going to try to just chase after Jordan there, trying to heal him.
Okay.
I guess this turn I can do double distance, right?
Yeah, so you
If
can
I don't
do
take an
double
action?
distance, and then next turn you'd be able to heal.
Sorry, I'm actually just stuck right underneath Nick's.
Let me move Nyx up. Nyx just doesn't want you to see what he did. It's like, don't judge me.
We listen and we don't judge.
Krieg, your turn.
Sorry, there doesn't appear to be much that I can do, so I will just move up.
Okay. Martin.
I'm going to take a quick peek at all of those empty sarcophagi and see if any goodies are left behind.
Let me look. No, there is nothing in there. Whatever belongings they may have had were taken by whoever put them there. So you
Cheap
checked them
bastards.
all. Yeah, they've already been looted. Well, probably while the inhabitants were still alive.
I'm going to go up with the rest of the group, but not in the way of...
Nyx, your turn.
I don't think there's much I can do either.
Oh, I don't know. Use your bow again. See who you can shoot.
Who wants hit?
You did see that the eyeless spawn went that way.
Do I have enough time to get over there and shoot?
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, yep. You could move to there and shoot.
I am totally going to redeem myself. Die, bastards!
Okay.
Crit. How you like me now?
Let me give him a Constitution roll. Okay, he's dead. So well done.
I do believe I got him.
This guy will continue to run. Jorben.
I think he's just gonna pass his turn and get over to the healer.
Iraga, can you cure his wounds?
I'm gonna try, so I'm just gonna place my hand on Jorben's head. And let's see what happens.
Ooh. Do you want to use your luck point?
I will
Otherwise-
use my luck
Okay.
point.
So let me give you that back. So you can cast that again. There we go. Okay. So you will heal 1d6 points of damage. If you want to roll that d6, you can either type /r space 1d6 or just click on the little square d6 in the chat bar. Oh, nice. 1 point of damage healed to our tank. So don't spend that all in one place.
You got the
I'm gonna
bolt
be
out.
making sounds like, yeah, the wound is worse than I thought.
Like, gee, that feels better. Krieg.
I suppose I'll retrieve my dagger, and that's about it.
Perfect. Martin.
I'll retrieve my dagger, and that's about it.
Excellent. And Nyx, you're up.
I will give them a hearty yeah and don't come back.
Nice. Then I'm going to end the combat. They may come back, but not for a minute. And now if you want to, Iraga, if you want to try to heal Jorben some more, you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Let's see.
Thank you kindly.
Barely. That's
Oh,
the
phew.
minimum of what
Okay,
you
I was
needed.
like,
Oh,
me
thank goodness.
yet.
Go ahead and roll another d6.
Son of a bitch.
You know, and
Consistent.
again, making sort of like humming sounds. Like, don't worry, Jorben, we're gonna get you fixed up. No time. Just hang in there.
You put one more staple in.
Yeah, at this point, we don't know if it's the magic that's working or if it's just
natural
time.
healing. So if you can, you're welcome to continue to do this, and I'm just kind of keeping track of the rounds as far as when the undead will come back.
Do you have a luck?
No,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
If someone
No,
else
I
wants
used
to
it already.
use
Can I
their
give her my luck?
Yes, you can give her your
Can I
luck
give her
point.
my luck?
You can.
And would now be a bad time to ask, pardon me, could I get my arrow back?
I think she's probably got it out by now, yeah.
They were just distracting you before they could pull it out. Shoot.
God.
Even with the
You know
luck.
what? Araga gives Jorben a little pat on the back, and the rest the body has to heal on its own. Magic can only do so much.
Yeah, rest, ice, compress, and elevate. That's all you can do.
Every time Nyx walks by with his bow, he's just kind of like swinging it around, and everyone's just ducking out of its way.
So you had that door open up there, and that leads into the hallway. Seems to have collapsed a long time ago. The passage is obstructed. The bubbling stream of dark goo filters through the debris and rocks from the south. If you have shovels, pickaxes, and similar tools, you could spend an hour digging in here to try and dig your way through, or you can try to find another path.
Oh, heaven forbid. It looks like there's a door up here.
There is a door.
That looks much easier.
I make some insensitive comment about the dwarf should be able to get through this pile up without any problem.
This room, the tomes and scrolls in the bookcase and on the desk are perfectly preserved. If you want to inspect these documents, you can, or if you want to cast Detect Magic on them, you can as well.
Oh. Creek's got Grimoire boner.
Does Krieg want to detect magic on these, as there are tons and tons of good things here? Oh, barely.
Yes, we'll sense the magic.
There is a powerful abjuration aura, which protects them from exposure. It's a protecting spell placed upon these things. There is some significant lore here about the cleansing order and the purpose of this dungeon as a prison. You can infer that the binding enchantments for the mage's eternal cells could not stand forever without being recast, and they must have failed in recent times, which is probably why this black ooze has bubbled up. In addition, there is a log with the names of all the mages that were tortured and interred here, a total of 300. You also find among the log of prisoners, you find the one of the last names, and it's underlined, kind of draws your attention. It is Arcturus Filgrand. And this name has been underlined. Perhaps this was a mage of significant power. There are several scrolls. These are priest scrolls on the shelves. This find is worth 2 experience points, so everyone can add 2 XP. And then here are a heap of priest scrolls. And these you could, Iraga could cast these spells. It would use up the scroll, but you would have access to them to be able to cast it.
Do I just drag them into my inventory?
Yeah, so just open your character sheet and just drag them onto your sheet, and it should pop them into your inventory.
Yeah, so
And that was-
Araga just kind of grabs all of these scrolls with her arms. Just, oh,
Yoink.
just don't mind me.
Notice there's not one
Finally,
that
I
heals.
thought it was just going to be gold in here. Yeah, well, you know, I can always smite Nyx, and honestly, that might do more good than...
Right? Might not be a bad thing. So, Holy Weapon, Turn Undead, you already have. Augury lets you ask me a question, and I will tell you if the action will lead to weal or woe. Bless is a fantastic spell. You can cast Bless to give someone a luck token, essentially. Smite is an offensive spell. You can cast Smite to target something and call down punishing flames upon them. And then Zone of Truth, this is kind of a higher level spell. This is a tier 2 spell, and this one you compel a creature you can see to speak the truth that cannot utter a deliberate lie while it is within range.
Well, it actually looks like I don't have enough inventory slots.
You can drop some stuff if you like. Let's put maybe your... I don't think you'll need your grappling hook. And we've got other people that have rope and grappling hooks, so let's just stash those. But yeah, this seemed to be the office or library of probably one of the upper priests of the cleansing order. Where do you go from here?
I suppose we should be checking out maybe that other door at the end of the room with the sarcophaguses.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Can I see if there's like... Can I dig through this rubble a little bit, see if there's anything interesting?
Yeah, you can start digging through it. It makes a lot of noise as you're moving rocks and things are clattering. You're going to get some of that goo on you, invariably. Now, Krieg, when you walk through there, you see that eyeless spawn is right there. So let's pull you back into initiative real quick.
Oh, yes, I've seemed to have stumbled upon our foe.
They have come back. Go ahead and roll initiative. Jorben, you're first. Wow. Okay. Let me give him a Constitution roll. Nope. All right. He's dead. Krieg, you're next. You can hear sounds coming from that sarcophagus room.
Oh, I can't see anything, but
But you can smell something right in front of you.
right. I will swing my staff.
Give yourself disadvantage on that. That is still a hit. For 1 damage, your staff clunks into something right in front of you. You hear a kind of a sickening wet thud. Martin, you're up next.
I'm gonna rush forward and see if I can lay eyes on anything. It doesn't look like
Krieg
I
is
can,
pointing right here, just at the edge of the shadows, the edge of Nyx's torchlight.
I'm gonna throw my dagger in that general direction.
Yeah, it'll be with disadvantage. And that is that's a hit. Okay, and you hear your dagger thunk into something, and then you hear it clatter against the ground. Let me give it a dexterity or a Constitution roll. No, okay, and it is defeated, and that's the end of the combat. Shot in the dark, and you managed to take it out. So well done.
I'm just gonna move to the side and let Nyx just pass forward, you know. He's got the torch, he should take the lead.
And he shot somebody in the back
Whoa.
already, so...
I have proven myself in battle.
Yeah, you almost took down our mightiest warrior.
Almost. Oh my.
Coming out into here, so Nyx, right in front of you, there is an iron portcullis that has been raised up in front of you and barring your path. Let me just read the little flavor text here. There is a hallway that splits into 3 balconies that overlook a large central area. The north and south balconies feature 1-foot-thick stone bars that impede passage. The central balcony looks as though it was damaged during some sort of tremor. The lack of bars there would allow you to jump down. From the balconies here, you can see the other side. It looks as though there's an identical set of balconies, but they are not damaged and destroyed. There is there's a smell in the air, and it smells like old iron, old metal, something very ancient.
He will say to Martin, I see something shiny down there.
Many shiny things. So it looks as though right here, it looks with that rubble, looks as though perhaps the little portcullis there has collapsed, maybe allowing you to access that area.
I'm going to cautiously sneak forward.
You might need Nix's
And-
light.
That'd be great.
Now,
Let me help you.
From up here, Nix, you see there is some sort of device built into the wall there. Now, Martin, to get down from there, it's going to be a dexterity roll. You see up in the corner there, Nix, a wheel and a lever. Looks like some sort of, we would call it primitive machinery, but for this era, it would be, advanced. There's also images on the walls that portray the cleansing order priests overseeing their comrades, dipping tortured mages into a blackened sludge pool from these barred balconies. Some seem to have been left in the goo, others were burnt alive, and their ashes placed into urns. Nix, give me a wisdom check as you look at the gear and the lever. So these don't seem to function. It seems as though whatever mechanism was here is long lost. This room is kind of set up symmetrically. You suspect there's probably a similar device on the other side of the room in the other corner of the room, but you'd have to jump over that little collapsed area to get there.
Okay, well, the way forward seems clear.
All right. I cautiously make my way.
It's a dex.
Through
Do
the
we want
rubble.
to...
Oh, yep.
Easily get through there with no trouble.
Nice.
A little more trouble for Krieg as you attempt to get across. You stumble, and you hear sounds. There's a den or something beneath some of this rubble. You can hear sounds of things stirring down in there as you step on a loosened stone.
That's likely nothing.
But a wisp of cloud. Nix and Araga, you're able to get across just fine. How about Jorban?
Oh dear. This is not his thing.
Can we catch him?
Yeah, you give him. Well, I was going to say,
shit,
you'll give him advantage if you try and help him across. So you can re-roll that.
Not quite.
Not quite. No, so you stumble on some stones and you hear the sounds. Whatever is in that den or that lair is definitely stirring. It seems to have been alerted to your presence. Now, in this room, a vast gallery looms with a vaulted ceiling shrouded in shadows. Barred balconies overlook a sinuous pond of bubbling, tarry sludge. Fetid fumes rise, twisting in the dim torchlight's flickering glow. From the goo rises a humanoid figure that howls in anger. Let me grab this. And I think I got a picture here. I do. Let's drag us into initiative. Go ahead and draw that initiative for yourselves. Or you don't roll in this game. No drawing. Nix, you're up first.
I'm going to do what I do best. And I am going to shoot in its general direction.
Yeah, you are. Oh, well.
That's going to be a hit for a whopping 1 point of damage.
Fear me.
Excellent. Jorben.
Okay. Goodness me. That's a hell of a token. Oh, dear.
Do you have a luck token? Do you want to spend it?
Sadly, I spent it earlier also on a failed hit, but that was a critical fail, so I'm glad I did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably for the best here. Martin.
I'm gonna put on my ring of invisibility because this guy looks like he means business.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna do a backstab on him with my dagger.
So you could activate the ring, would take your action, and then you could move into position, and then next turn you could do that backstab, if you like.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Perfect.
How do I do this?
So I'm just going to move you down here, and you are invisible. So everyone
Okay.
else sees you just vanish, and maybe they assume you decided to flee, but time will tell. Let's go to Krieg.
Krieg will step up and attempt to cast another spell.
Oh, dang. Does anyone have
I'm out
a
of
luck
luck.
token for Krieg?
He couldn't have one of mine.
Try that again, Krieg.
Well, I'm not sure if that would work. Is he a living creature? I should have asked first.
He is probably not living.
Yeah, that might not work. So
If you take
I
the luck
won't.
token, you won't lose your spell, but otherwise you will lose the spell for the day.
That's okay. I'll just lose the spell.
You're kind of a terrible spellcaster, if I'm being honest. You can detect magic pretty good, but everything else is sucked.
Yeah.
We haven't come across anyone living, so...
Yep. Iraga, your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna take a step up and swing at it with my longsword.
Ooh,
Like a boss.
excellent. Now your longsword is not magical. It's going to take a little less damage, same as it did from the other attack. Took a little less. It's going to take a little less here. The Doomed Abomination. I'll do one is Jorben. Let's see. If you're swinging your longsword, we'll move Iraga up here. So I'll do one is Jorben, two is Krieg, three is Iraga. Krieg. Uh-oh.
Oh,
All right. It attacks with a shadow sword. Oh.
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 Krieg, how many hit points do you have?
He's dead twice over.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's your constitution modifier is plus
Plus
0.
what?
So I'm
Oh
going
no, plus 0.
I'm going to roll a d4 in secret, and I add your constitution modifier. This is how many rounds until you are absolutely dead. Okay, so I know how many it will be. But you all see Krieg just hit the ground. Now, Krieg, you will also take a drain. You're going to lose 2 points of constitution. And if you hit 0, then it's instant death. So let me drop your constitution by 2. Perfect. Nyx, you're up.
I am going to fire at him again, but this time with a little bit more
A
seriousness.
little more pizzazz.
Yes, this is. I see what he just did to the wizard. And
Oh.
Boom.
Oh.
Okay. Yes, you did. Excellent. Jorben. Nice. I think he might splatter here. Yep, a little bit of blood. Martin, you get a backstab.
I'm gonna
So roll with
I'm gonna
advantage
backstab
on
it,
this.
guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of
Oh
dice.
my.
So that is with a 16. That is a hit. 6 total damage. Nice. He is almost down. Krieg, roll a d20. If you roll a 20, then you're no longer dying. Oh, that's close. Iraga.
I'm gonna see if I can finish this thing off. I don't think I can.
Well, no, that is a miss. All right. 1 is Jorben, 2 is Iraga, 3 is Martin. Oh, Iraga. The shadow sword swings in at you. Oh, and that's a miss. Excellent. Krieg,
Noise.
you begin to spit and bubble up blood, and then you go very, very still. And Krieg is dead. We've got Rickon in here. Let me give you ownership of Rickon. And you can take Rickon for now. Let me add him to the fight.
Just in the nick of
And
time.
let's go to the next round. Nix, you're up. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Twang!
Not so hot there. Gives and takes. Jorben, you're up. Oh, and this is round 3. Hang on. These 2 tainted oozes pop up. Let me add these guys. I forgot to add these guys. Before we get too far in here. There we go. Jorben. Attacking the boss.
Yes.
2 damage. Man. Oops. Give him 1 more. He's sitting on 1 hit point.
Oh, damn.
Somebody spit on him.
This tainted ooze, 1 is going to be Iraga and 2 will be Martin. That's going after Martin. Tainted ooze slaps you with a greasy pseudopod, and that's a miss. Martin, you're up next. You are surrounded.
I'm gonna. Which guy is nearly dead?
The big boss, the doomed abomination up here.
I'm gonna stab him again. Am I still invisible?
Nope, you are back to being visible. Once you make an attack, the
Okay.
invisibility ends.
Gotcha.
That is a hit. Okay, that's enough.
Well done.
Let me get him here. You get a luck token if you don't have one. That is worth a luck token.
Well played.
There we go.
Thank you.
But you still
I am going to take a step back.
still have the tainted oozes here. Rickon, you're up next.
Well, I cannot see anything. So I suppose I'll stay here for now.
But you don't see the tainted ooze here?
No, my screen is all dark.
Let me,
I can see
let me give
what's
you
been explored, but there's no torchlight.
let me give you a new token, and I might have to take off Krieg's ownership. Let me fix this. Now, do you have vision?
Still no.
If you hit F5, will that refresh it for you?
That does not seem to work.
Well, you have a crossbow if you want to use it.
Yeah, I will try that.
I'll go ahead and... Nice, that's a hit. A whopping 1 point of damage. Bringing the heat here. Iraga, your turn.
I'm gonna try something a little different. I'm gonna use Holy Weapon on my longsword to see if that helps for...
Yeah. So that would definitely have helped where the boss here was taking half damage from non-magical weapons. It would make it magical. This also gives you a +1 to attack and damage rolls. So excellent. So that is, I think, is that an action? Yeah, that is an action. So that takes your action for the round, but now you have a holy weapon. Tainted Ooze will slither over and is going to go after Nyx. Ooh, Nyx, you take 3 points of damage from that. How many hit points does... Oh, Nyx has a lot of hit points. Well, relatively speaking.
I take 6.
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah, 3 hit points. Nyx, your turn.
All right. I am going to stick my torch in this thing. How did we do that last time?
You just swing and you add a +1.
12.
That is a hit. And roll a d6 and a d8. Nice. And roll another d6. If you roll a 1, your torch goes out. Nice. Torch stays lit. Jorben and Henrik, did that fix your vision? Can you see now?
I can see now, yes.
Okay. I found the trick. Oh, wow. Okay, that ooze is dead. Oh, whoops, I killed the wrong one. Sorry, let me... Well, that one's dead. Let me put this one down here and give him back the hit points that he had.
Oh, clever.
There we go. Martin, your turn.
I'm gonna stab this guy again.
That is a hit. His armor class is 10. So you hit him for 2. He only takes 1 from that. There we go. Perfect. And Iraga. Where is Iraga?
Okay, with my
Under-
newly imbued short sword, I'm at the bottom of the room.
Oh, there you are. I was zoomed in.
I'm gonna swing at it with my short sword. Does it add the
I don't
+1
think it will add
automatically?
it
I don't think it does.
automatically. No. So you get a +1 to attack and a +1 on damage, so we can just do the math ourselves. Nice. So 16 and 9. Actually, did it do that automatically? No, it did not. Okay. So that was actually 10 points of damage, and that is enough to take it out. Excellent. You have cleared the room. As the abomination slithers down into the muck and the tainted oozes crumble and fall, the essence of whatever was keeping this darkness in place begins to recede. And you see the slick, oily surface begin to quickly turn into clear water. The aura of evil in the dungeon begins to fade, and any undead in here will collapse and die. Whatever had empowered that terrible wizard that had somehow made it out of the torturous death has been brought about to an end as you end his life. Now, there are still some rooms available to explore in here, or you can head out knowing that you have saved the town.
I'm going to loot everything.
Loot
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, now that we know nothing's gonna pop out.
Particularly the body of our fallen comrade.
Yeah, has he got any gold on him? As you look over Krieg, he doesn't have a lot of great stuff. He's got a dagger and a staff. He's got a backpack,
Why he died.
oil flask. Yeah, he's got a used torch. It's got like a minute left on it. His spells, his knowledge, that's what he was good at. Well, in theory, but he was not quite so great in true form here. Now, as you begin to loot around, you do find a few items here, and let me pop these in as you go through the sarcophagi. Let me grab these. The first room you go in, or the first sarcophagus that you check, contains gold, and I'm going to write this in the chat thing. So there's 50 gold. Oops, that should be not from Jordan. That should be from me. 50 gold, 300 silver. There is a potion of healing. There is also a priest scroll of flame strike. And there is a dagger that, if we had our wizard, he would say, that thing radiates magic. That whole hoard there is worth 2 experience points. There is then another collection as you go through the other sarcophagi. There is one that has 350 gold. It has 1,490 silver. 7,600 copper, and it has 2 of these potions of healing, and this is worth 3 experience points. So that should be, I think that gets everyone to 10.
Yeah, 12.
12? Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, 12. So it gets everyone up to 12. So that means you can actually level up. You can take this loot. You can go and carouse with it. You can give it to Marianne to try and rebuild a life. It's whatever you want to use this loot for. Whoever wants the potions, the scroll, and the dagger, go ahead and take it. 10 gold pieces each.
I have the dagger. Well, I'll let somebody else have the dagger.
If someone wants a good dagger. That would have been good for Krieg, but of course he's dead. And then if you want to level your character up, you can do it through Foundry. And what you'll do is you'll go to, on your character sheet, go to Details, and where it has level, there's an up arrow. And you can go through the whole process to level your character up by clicking on the up arrow. It will roll your hit points. It will do all that cool stuff for you. So, as an example, I'm going to do Krieg's here. So we can watch here. So you'll roll hit points. If you gain any new talents, it'll let you have them. And then you can grab a, like if you've got spells or other things.
I got 1 hit point and no extra anything.
Nice. Yeah, it kind of sucks. But, you know...
Can I use my luck and re-roll?
No, the real treasure was the friends you made along the way.
That's true.
Well, Krieg got 2 hit points. He almost doubled his hit points had he been able to actually be a second-level wizard. But if you do get a talent, if anyone's struggling with that, let me know. Or if you choose like a new spell, I think Iraga probably gets a spell. And if you...
Is it just tier 1 I can add?
Yeah, so on that little screen where you kind of add your stuff, if you click on like the little book, I think it'll open up all the spells. So just choose a tier 1 and drag it over into that little upgrade window, and then it should add that to your character sheet. Yeah, Shield of Faith. Excellent. Anyone else having any difficulty leveling up, or was that pretty... I mean, there's not a ton you get at level 2, but going from 2 to 3, you get a bunch of stuff. So you head back into town victorious. You have cleansed the town of the tainted water, which that is the title of the adventure is Tainted Water, which I didn't want to give too much away, so I gave it a different name. The townsfolk are overjoyed. The festival will go on, and they will celebrate the victorious heroes, as well as memorializing the Vidalia family. Rickon takes this opportunity to propose to Marianne, and she actually turns him down.
Oh.
Yeah, time and a place, Rickon.
Right?
Right. This is not it, bud.
So
Yeah,
Like-
she whole family murdered. Anything
Bodies
left
are
from the
still
farm
in the-
stolen.
Yeah, so it says if Marianne survives the adventure, she sells the farm and decides to leave the region to explore the world. A spark of curiosity and adventure now burns in her heart. If allowed, she will join you in your quests. If Rickon survives, he proposes to Marianne on the last day of the Drake's Triumph Festival. She refuses him and promptly abandons the region. Rickon is unwilling to abandon his family and friends in Drake's Pass. If the blacksmith survived, which he did, he goes back into retirement, happy to be just a blacksmith and a landlord. A festival a few days later is stained by the deaths of the Vidalia and any other townsfolk that may have perished. A funeral pyre is erected by the stone well in Drake's Pass to burn the remains of all the recent dead. You are celebrated as heroes. This is only the beginning of your exciting sellsword careers, but those adventures are for another day. So that was the adventure. There's a few things you missed on the map, a few secret doors, a few things here and there. I ended up moving some of the loot that was hidden behind secret doors into this room, because otherwise I don't like it. There's no treasure in this room, and if you don't look for the secret doors, you're not going to find it. So all the stuff that you said, I want to search the room, that would have all been hidden behind secret doors. And to find a secret door, you just say, I want to check for secret doors, or I'm searching this hallway, and then you'll find it. So you eventually would have went through here and found it. And I figure I don't want to leave you empty-handed, and you deserve to go up to level 2 after a tough fight like this. A question for Henrik: is his body burned on the pyre with the other people in town, or what happens with Krieg's remains?
I think maybe his remains slipped into the ooze, and now there'll be another evil wizard in a few hundred years.
Ooh. And that is a story for another day. thanks everybody for playing. I had a blast. I hope you guys had fun. Kato, was this a fun experience for you? This is your first role-playing experience?
Yeah, this is great, man.
So you did fantastic. Like, you were basically like a seasoned veteran. So I'm assuming you've played like some maybe video role-playing games. Something
Yeah,
like that?
I've done Skyrim.
Excellent. Yeah, you like picked it right up, and kind of knew as a thief how to think like a thief. So well done and excellent. Any questions about Shadowdark, about how to play and how the system works? Or any
No,
questions
it's pretty cool.
from anyone about the game?
No, this was great.
Great. And so specifically for you, Craig, having played some Shadowdark, you've played more than I have. Did this feel pretty representative of like a level 1 Shadowdark adventure?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, you guys, Jorben was almost dead. Krieg did die, and had some of the rolls gone the other way, it may have turned out much worse. So there's definitely an element of danger there, and some pretty cool foes. And I thought the map was pretty sweet, great for exploring. But I will. Well, actually, everyone but Kato knows I actually record these sessions, so I'm going to stop the recording here. I will post this, and I'll post the link to you if you want to go back and watch this. Or if you don't want me to post it, let me know, and I will respect your wishes. But otherwise, I'm going to pause this, and I'll post this video shortly.